What's up, traders? Matt from the Trade Brigade here doing a technical analysis on ticker symbol PLTR for Palantir Tech. On the left-hand side, we have the daily time frame, and on the right-hand side, the 30-minute intraday time frame. First things first, they did give us an earnings announcement before the bell today, which did lead to this pretty significant gap down on the daily time frame chart. But let's start nonetheless with a daily roadmap, considering that it's not like the earnings are after hours here. We're going to start with, of course, the critical levels that are right in front of our eyes. Then we'll dissect the 30-minute chart in just a second here. So clearly the support trend line has been broken. I'm just putting it in there in case there's a hook for a back test. If we resist at that level, that's telling you something very important about the stock here. It's really that short-term momentum style traders are in control of the movement if we back test and resist at the support trend line, right? Only short-term technical traders are going to be the ones who are paying attention to that level. And if that's who's playing the name right now, we know that breakouts and breakdowns based on technical levels should be working. So just an important piece of evidence that you can pay attention to. So that's what we've got, and that's why that's kind of on there from the daily. Other than that, really choppy. Even on the 30-minute time frame, there's not like a clean level. I suppose this would be the one that I would want to pick out first. It's almost the midpoint of the range now that I'm looking at it on the daily time frame. But if you look on the 30-minute, right, why is that the important level? You can see it offered resistance here as well, support for that open where we drove higher from, resistance, support, and then pull back to support here around that 1290. Okay, so to me, that's the important area. It's midway of the range. If there's going to be a hook higher, that's also mean reversion, so it makes sense, right? So are you going to play this long here, though, is the question, and to me, the answer is no, not yet at least. Now, the aggressive trader, sure, if you want to take a stab long here thinking that prior support will give us a little bit of a bounce, I wouldn't call you crazy. I probably wouldn't take the trade myself, though. Your stop loss needs to be underneath today's low if that's the trade you decide to take. Probably not my first choice. Nothing about the chart is screaming bullish. Obviously, falling out of this pattern is, of course, bearish. Closing weak at the lows, also a bearish implication. Let's take a closer look at the 30-minute intraday time frame now, just to see how the move actually unfolded. A little bit of volatility, to be quite frank with you. Hammer candle there on the open, then making a bit of a rally higher. Notice it never made it to that midpoint of the range, then rolls over weak into the end of the day. So what else can we learn, right, about the intraday activity? Well, we flushed underneath this level, 1221. You can see that it was support, little bit of support on that 30-minute bar, and when it breaks, that's where you get that accelerated selling. Notice that there are no green candles once we take out that level. Sellers in firm control underneath the low of the day there. So let's take out the Fibonacci's and see if that aligns with any of our sort of important numbers to be watching. And if we do something like that, notice it's the midpoint of today's range, which is just interesting. It's not so much, like, oh, that's a great, technical revelation. It's just interesting that it's the 50% mark of the range. If we retrace into it, then, still bearish, right? We're still underneath the 50% mark. So to me, nothing too impressive about that other than the fact that it's structural. So we'll remove the fibs. They're not doing us a whole lot of good. Anything that happens like this is bearish acceptance lower for a bear flag. Breaks of that 1185 coming from the daily support here as well do get fairly nasty. Let's go ahead and go out to a weekly time frame. Oops, we want this just to see what we have for supports underneath us. I'm going to grab some more time, even though I don't think that there's much more time to be grabbing. Yeah, that's it. So what do we have down below? It's really that 10 level, right? That's when all of these things went public and kind of went crazy from the 10 SPAC release, correct? So to me, 10 is that next area of support, about $2 below where we're currently at. Sure, you can be technical with me and call it $1.85. You get the gist, right? So it's not really something you want to be holding long into 10. I would prefer to wait for either a bottoming pattern somewhere down below here. So it could look something like this, do whatever. Then if it forms that's a really bad drawing. Pretend that was a little bit lower. That's an inverted head and shoulders, right? Neckline break takes you back higher. Could look like a double bottom somewhere down here, something like that. Double bottom, neckline break takes you back higher. Could be any sort of pattern, but I would want to see structure develop before I start bottom fishing inside of PLTR as we approach that $10 level. So that's all I've got for you today. If you enjoyed the video or learned anything new, let me know in the comments section or by giving the video a thumbs up. Don't forget our main channel is linked in the description. And all of that being said, I wish you a green trading week.